Okay. I just I just have to announce on the recording that this was not prepared well, so maybe we'll do it better tomorrow. So whatever comes up, if not, then just delete the recording. Initiation of Yofer. That's the first halacha. That is the husband or father. So they only have 1 day. So when they hear the neder, so they have 1 day. We said it comes out halacha till shkia, not 24 hours. There's machlokas about that. We came out that it means only till the end of the day. And here the question is, when is the day? So he did not know that he's allowed to be mefer. So then it's a couple of days later, he heard the neder, and he wasn't mefer because he didn't know that he could be mefer. And then later on, he found out that he could be mefer. So he still could be mefer for the day because it's not called that he heard it if he didn't know that he could be mefer. So the day that he finds out that he's allowed to be mefer, so even if the
same day,
even if the neder was already a long time ago, he heard about it, but he just found out that he's allowed to be mefer, so he's allowed to for that day. That is the clock starts then. How about the case? I know that it's possible for the husband to be mefer, but I don't know that this is a neder. The Rosh has 2 possibilities. He doesn't know this is a neder. Either he doesn't know that this is a neder that needs to be mefer. Maybe it's not even necessary.
It wasn't nogated to him, and so
then it cannot be mefer. Either one of the two. He says either the one. Either he cannot. You didn't know that he could be mefer. Halachically, is it called inu nefesh? Is it called?
He thought he couldn't.
Right, maybe thought he couldn't, or he didn't know that it's necessary to be made for the neder. Maybe thought it's not a neder at all. Some technicality why he wasn't made for neder because he didn't think he could or that he has to, but he knew that he has the power to. So here the chachamim are consistent. The chachamim still say same as the Reisha. He didn't know all the information, so he still could be made for. But Meir says for some reason lo yafer, that he's not this case not. If he knew that it's if he didn't know that he's allowed to be made fair, then he agrees that the clock didn't start. But if he knew he's allowed to be made fair, he just didn't know that this is a proper neder to be made fair. So then no yafer. So I don't know what the machlokas is yet. The Gemara comes in with a different subject altogether, and it's talking about someone killed b'shogeg. That's the whole Maseches Makos about the Elohim Golden. That somebody killed b'shogeg, so then he has to go to Ari Miklat. And the pasuk over there, when it says that he killed, it says below Ra'os, that he didn't see. Like he didn't see what he was doing. I'll get the pasuk. Let's not just
You're talking about shogeg?
Shogeg, you're right. He killed with shogeg.
Mm-hmm.
What's the pasuk? Below Ra'os? Everybody has the pasuk. I'm just trying to find it. It says on the side, what? That's Matos probably. Is that true? That's where the din of Ori Miklat is not Maseh. Lamed Hey is already Maseh. Is that true? Ori Miklat. It talks about if he did it b'mezid, then he's chayiv b'mesinay yadafenu or b'eva, then he's chayiv in the fesa below eva, or a shlich halav kol kli below tzediyah. Below hula yev lo muvakesh ro'oso. But that says o b'chaleven hashayim was below ro'os. That's the pasuk. It's pasuk 23. That if he didn't mean to kill him, below tzediyah, he wasn't hunting him, or with any kind of a stone that's possible to kill below ro'os. Below ro'os l'chor means that he didn't see. He didn't see that he was killed. He didn't see what he was doing. So what if he's blind? Is that also included in the pasuk? Or is the halacha going to be true that he's chayiv or miklon or not? So prat l'suma divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says that if he's blind, then he's not included in the parasha of Ari Miklat. I guess it means that he's potter completely. He doesn't even have to go to Ari Miklat. It's only somebody that was able to see and didn't see, that's called the shogeg. But someone that was not able to see, so he is excluded from Ori Miklat. But Meir Omer the Rabbi says assume. On the contrary, he's coming to include that assume is also in the parasha of Ori Miklat. So that's the end of the kasha. That's very interesting. Like that's the end of the kasha. Does anybody see any kasha? That's the kasha.
Well, what happens if he? We're talking about being able to go to the Ori Miklat.
I think that being able, there's 2 ways to say it. Being able is a mechuyev to. That means if someone doesn't go to Ori Miklat, there are 2 reasons. Either because he doesn't have to, or he doesn't help him. If it doesn't help him sometimes, that means that he can't. That's amazing, right? Now, sometimes it's also called, even it's called sometimes a shogeg karvel amazing, that it's not good enough that he, even if he's not chayv misa, sometimes amazing is chayv misa, even if it's not a case, but he's not. It doesn't help him to be an Ori Miklat because he doesn't get saved. The relative could come to Ori Miklat and kill him over there also. Ori Miklat is not that they have guards around. Ori Miklat is a halachic fortress that over there he's not allowed. If he kills them, he's like killing. If the relative's going to kill him, he's like killing an innocent man, and he's going to be chayiv misa. Out of the Ori Miklat, he's allowed to kill him. And
this according to
and-
Rabbi Yehuda, this.
so
would
according to
be-
you, the
this- that
problem
would
is
be
he's
the
allowed
fine
to
for
stay
staying.
home. He doesn't have to go to our mikvah. The blind man that
But then
people
someone will
understand.
come and kill him.
No, he's not allowed to. That's what I'm saying. Oh, I started, I didn't finish. That sometimes when a person doesn't go to a mikvah, it's because it doesn't help him. Sometimes he doesn't go to a mikvah because he doesn't need it. That means that he's like a shogeg korv la'onis. That if he's less than the regular shogeg, that means that he doesn't need the mikvah. He's safe wherever he goes. He can stay home wherever he is, and the relatives are not allowed to kill him. He's safe. The same safety, the same
Well,
protection
Adam
cannot kill him. Will not kill him. He's not. He's
He's murdered. They couldn't.
they cannot kill him. He's chai, if he like any innocent person, if you kill him, say chayv misa. So that's the way of not being chayv. Reader says prato stuma means that he does not need ori miklat.
If a blind man is what's the word? He's dangerous. He plays with dangerous items and just throws stones everywhere. And he's being told this is not a good thing to do. He says, "Well, I don't see any problem with it because
I don't see any problem.
Right. So
It doesn't say-
and then he kills somebody. Is that you want to say that that's completely innocent?
If you're saying in a case where he's mamish negligent, people tell him that the people around. I don't know the application of this, but this is what case we're talking about. That he comes into, he threw a stone, whatever. He didn't think anybody was there. He was a shogeg. He didn't mean to kill anybody. If he meant to kill somebody, even though he's blind, so he didn't mean
He
it.
was,
So-
but he was close.
but
to
he should know.
making
You're saying he should know that he's blind. Then he should take that into consideration. He shouldn't just
for
throw it.
that kind of person, then it works.
So
And
here
it's
so
not
far
that-
that's the information over here. That's the machlokas over here. If he's potter from our miklat or chayv in our miklat, and that's the end of the kasha, and he's supposed to figure it out. How? Figure out the kasha. It's a kasha on our mishnah.
This is a
Do you
kasha.
see a kasha on our mishnah? What does that have to do with each other? We're talking about Nedarim. If he knew that he's allowed to be Mayfair, but he didn't know that this is a neder, and there's some kind of contradiction over here. I think Gemara holds of us very much that we're supposed to be able to figure out what the kasha is. So I have no idea. So the Rosh over here says there's something of how to darshan. The question is how to darshan. So if we can learn it together,
What are the Rosh tables?
which one?
What you're going to read?
Oh, the Rosh, not Rosh Tevis, but the Rosh. You mean
You want the Rosh table 7.
no?
It's not Rosh table.
What does Rosh Tevis mean?
Oh, well, the heading. It's not.
Oh, Dibra Masto.
Dibra Masto.
From the beginning of the Rosh on the left side of the column. Yeah, the initiation of Nedarim.
Mhm.
Just explains the Mishnah already.
Yeah,
Right,
mhm.
the next couple of lines. Below Rose Prat L'Suma Rabbi Yehuda Meir Omer L'Rabba Says L'Suma.
Mhm.
So what do you see from all this? So Alma, Rav Meir Basa Sfara Azil, below Basa Riyata Dikra. The question is a very general question. Do you go according to reasoning or do you go according to what the pasuk sounds like? It sounds like such a huge subject that if you have a pasuk that seems to say something and you have a Sfara the other way, what do you do?
What's Rehita?
Riyata means like the running, the flow of the pasuk. So let's try. The mashmusa the kro lo mishtamea suma. The contradiction is going to be Rav Meir. And it says that the Gemara understands Rav Meir's reason and is already asking a kasha from someplace else where Rav Meir doesn't say that. So here, the case of the Ori Miglat mashmusa the kro lo mishtamea suma. The simple reading would not have thought we're talking about a blind man. The Pasha the Mashma Shika Chaver Bishvil Shalom Rahu, Abel L'Sadacher. If it says he threw the stone without seeing, what does without seeing means? He was looking the wrong way, but it sounds like he could see. If you read the pasuk, the pasuk would sound like if he the pasuk says again, "Oh, b'chol even hashayom was below ra'os," without seeing. What does without seeing mean? That he wasn't looking. He wasn't looking where he was going. He wasn't looking where he was throwing, but he could see. It's a person who could see and didn't see. So the simple words of the pasuk, the flow of the pasuk, the flow of the pasuk would have been mashma that he could see. He's a seeing person. He's not blind.
Right.
And then Rav Meir says, what does Rav Meir say again? Rav Meir said, the Rabba says assume. Let's see it again.
Mhm.
The Mashmusa the Kro Lo Mishtamei Asuma. The pasuk, the floor of the pasuk would not have been mashma. It's talking about a blind man because the pasuk Peshat is mashma because he didn't see him, but he could have seen him. Va'afilu wachimar b'suma. The sof ein ro ehu. Rav Meir says you go with the svara. But what's the difference if he could see him or he can't see? The mice he didn't see. What's the difference if he can't see because he wasn't looking, or he can't see because he can't see? Mashma shehechrish lekayim, aval yoda shehaya yachal lahofer, mikomokom nezel bosas svara, the so shamba v'lo hefer. He's going in the Resha. He has to catch on the Resha, not a Rameir. He's asking Kasha on the Resha. Even it says in the pasuk that when does he have a right to be mefer? If he heard and he was quiet again. The pasuk says that he only has the day. If he's quiet during the day, then it's considered he affirmed it. Why was he quiet? So simple pshat would have been that he was being quiet in order to affirm it. This person was quiet not in order to affirm it. He was quiet because he didn't know that he could affirm it. So he's not going on the safe only, as the Rosh says. That's it. The sof ein ro'ehu. I'm not sure who would have been marba. The pasuk alone would have included a summa, because there's no difference why he doesn't see, even though the pasuk is mashma that he didn't see because he wasn't looking, but there's no difference, and it also would include a blind person who cannot see. So too, in the pasuk of being quiet in order to affirm, the pasuk is talking about pasuk dikra mashma, that he's quiet because he wants to affirm it. He knew that he could be mefer, and he was quiet. That means that he's affirming it. But I can't say that I understand it. The verse says that the Svara would say that there's no difference why he was quiet. Is that what the Svara is? I would think the Svara is the opposite. That the reason why he was quiet in the pasuk is only because he wanted to affirm it. His silence was a way of affirming it. And if the reason why he was silent is because he thought he can't, so I would say that the Svara says that it's not considered yet an affirmation. But the Rosh says the opposite. The Rosh says that there's no difference why he didn't hear. The same way we don't look at it as difference why he didn't see. He didn't see because he's blind. He didn't see because he's looking the other way. So too, there's no difference why he was quiet. Was he quiet because he wanted to affirm it, or was he quiet because he thought that he couldn't? He didn't know that he could nullify it. So I don't really understand the question yet, but that's what, if we can learn the words at least, and it seems he's asking on the whole mission, not only on asking on Rav Meir. Rav Meir is the one who says you go with Svara.
To include the summa. Here he knew, he didn't know.
He didn't know, even in the Resha. No, even in the Resha, that everybody holds he could be mefer. Rav Meir shouldn't hold like that. Rav Meir holds you shouldn't be able to be mefer in the Resha either, because you should go with the Svara, and there's no difference why he was quiet. Is there no difference why he was quiet? I'm not sure. It means you can say, Chaim David was saying.
Meir is the one. Oh no, that's Rebbe. Okay.
So the Russian to say the kasha is in our Meir. According to Meir, go by the Svara, not the way the pasuk is dafka talking about. You should also say here, go with the Svara, not with the way the pasuk is talking about. Even the pasuk is talking about over there a person who could see, but it applies also to the person that can see. And here also, even though the pasuk is talking about he's quiet because he wants to affirm, it should apply to any kind of silence, even if he's not doing it to affirm. And he should not be able to be made free because the day passed and he was silent.
Right.
The silence and the silence.
Like the Rebbe Meir would hold the Mishnah would be low yet.
Right. And Rebbe agrees in the Resha, and the question is that he shouldn't agree in the Resha. How come it says here then this word, how come Yofer? Meir should argue and say no, he was quiet. Right. The same way over there he says he didn't see. No difference why he didn't see. So too, no difference why he was silent.
If he was silent to affirm it, or he was silent because he didn't know, it doesn't matter. Once he can't affirm it, he can't. It's nothing.
Because he was silent. You don't. That's called going with the svara. That's called going with the svara. By Chaim David said that by the person who was blind that he doesn't see, is there more time or less time? He knows he's blind, and over there, and the person doesn't know. He didn't see what he's doing. That's an accident. And a person who knew that he can't see, is he more liable, less liable? The Gemara says on the Svara, and the pasuk he would have said maybe it's talking about a person who could see and wasn't looking, but a blind person will be different. But Meir says no, that it says he didn't see. So too over here say that the pasuk says he was silent for the whole day, so it's automatically affirmed. You can't nullify anymore here too. He should say that he can't be made for anymore because he was silent. Don't tell me why he was silent. It doesn't make a difference. That's called going by Svara. I can't say I understand it. That's the kasha, and the Gemara expects us to know the kasha. I am very impressed how we're supposed to be so smart to figure out the kasha. The Gemara answers, Amar Rava, Hacham Inyana Dikra. They take out this word. Asura Rosh takes out these words, Hacham Inyana Dikra. It takes out the second words. Let's say I think that we could erase these words at the end.
Oh, you mean this isn't twice, so just take out
right. Take out one of them. Okay, I didn't do that well, but just take out one of them because we're just going to say that in the Ari Miklat, we'll say why he learns that way. It means really The Gemara is going to explain both opinions now in the Ori Miklat case, and let's see the Rush over here also to help us get through the words. He doesn't go with this far. He goes according to what the pasuk is mashma, and over here, what are we going to say? That the person who was quiet only because he was affirming it. We're not going to say, well, we thought we proved from the case of Ori Miklat that the Rabbi Meir says that it says lower also means lower os the whole way. And I was saying no, that lower os is going to be a drush. He'll say why he says that. But as far as Nedarim, the silence is not the way we understood the Pashup Pshat. Why is he silent? When is it considered an affirmation? Because he knew that he could nullify and he didn't nullify. That's the time that we're going to say that is an affirmation. And the question is now, Ori Miklat doesn't sound like that. We're going to explain Ori Miklat. There's a special drush over there. That's the outline of the Gemara. Like he says, and that's why
when you say the Kra, you're talking about the low rows.
Either pasuk, either by the pasuk over here, pasuk over there. The Nedarim is below row. The Nedarim is v'hech that he's quiet. If he's quiet, so then it's v'hech that he's quiet. And why is he quiet usually? In order to affirm. And that's what the Meir says. The Meir also agrees over here that the pasuk only means when it's doing it to affirm. If he didn't do it to affirm because he thought that he can, so then it's not considered a silence, and he could still be mefer. So what's with our miklat? It's only because there's a special way to darshan over here. It's okay. I think I'll make it through. Not too much longer, I think. Yeah, thank you. Much appreciated. So let's see the Gemara. He's going to say now we're going to get to explain the Ori Miklat and why each one held. The introduction over there of the whole story about the Ori Miklat was that they came into the forest. The person chopping wood came into the forest, and somebody else was there also.
Is he blind? He's not blind. I'm getting
no. The pasuk, no, pasuk, a regular person, regular person. Someone came. Yeah, that's the question. Now, who's this person? He who came with his friend into the forest. Lachto beitzim. Who's that person? It says Asher Yovo, he who comes. So the mashmos of that would be kol debar meyal liyar. This word is a bar, not dov, not called dov.
Where are you?
I'm on the third line. That's the
bar male.
No, not the bar, but bar. A bar male, like a bar mitzvah, is a bar male. A bar male means somebody who comes in. The word male means to come in, and a bar male is somebody who can come in. So the pasuk says, "He who comes in." Who's it talking about? Anybody who's an incomer. The pasuk says, "This is the pasuk." Asher yavo esrei ubayad. That's the pasuk. So we're going to darshan anybody who could come in. That's what the pasuk talking about. Anybody could come in. Could a blind man come in? Yeah, he's a comer in. Called the bar me'al liyar and assume an ami bar me'al liyarhu. So if we would have said that pasuk, we would have said that a blind man is also included in the whole parsha, and it says that he's kills b'shogeg, so he's chayiv or miklat. We would have included a blind man.
No, I'm sorry.
I think this is going to be Rabbi Yehuda. The more starts of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda. This was explaining Rabbi Yehuda. I was then explaining Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda holds that the pasuk first starts talking about everybody, even a blind man, and then v'yamid below rose the Rabbi says asuma miyar nafkale. Rabbi Yehuda says that there is a pasuk of below rose. Why does that say below rose for? The below rose, if the word below rose would be coming to include asuma, you don't need it because he's already included. So the pasuk must be coming to exclude him. Below rose prat asuma. Everyone's going to say that whatever you would have thought without the word below rose, that the below rose is coming to change whatever it was. So Yehuda says that the default over there was talking about any kind of person, anybody who's a bar meyal, he could come in. So that would have included a blind person, and the below rose is coming to exclude him, to say that he's not included because he cannot see. It has to be a person who could see and didn't look, but not if he can't see at all.
Going back to the beginning, first assumption, assume it doesn't go into the forest.
He could.
What do you mean he doesn't? Where's he going? Does he have any?
He has
the person with eyes doesn't know where he's going. How can the person without eyes?
He's with his friend.
Anybody.
He didn't talk about friends. He talked about
anybody could go. Anybody could go in. Physically, can anybody enter? Anybody could enter. How does he enter? He needs a dog. He needs a friend. He needs a walking cane. But anybody could go in.
The story is that he's going in with a friend. He chops a tree and he is the friend.
Mm-hmm. So he's saying even better. That Sheva Espreyo means he came together with his friend. Yeah. Right. Okay, let's say. So but he has no problem getting in. So that's how Rabbi Yehuda learned. But Rabbi Meir, so let's see the other side. We're really looking for, according to the Rush, we're really looking for Rabbi Meir. According to the Rush, we're really looking for Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir, still believe that.
So that's not a question.
No kasha. We're just explaining Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda holds that the pasuk would have been mashma everybody. So Asher Rose is coming to exclude from the default. One would have thought. So therefore, it's coming to exclude it. Now, Meir Savad is the pasuk also bevli das. The pasuk says bevli das that he. I have to see the pasuk over there that he killed him, but he does. He killed him without intention. But he's putting it that he have to be. The pasuk's talking about a bar das. Called the bar meda. Here the word also is not double. It's the bar. A bar meda. A bar mitzvah. A bar me'aliv. A bar meda. Somebody whose knowledge could be knowledgeable. And a summa is not called knowledgeable because he couldn't have known that there was somebody else over there. The summa la bar medahu. So therefore, the pasuk would have been excluded. The pasuk alone b'vli das would have excluded a summa because the pasuk is only talking about somebody who did it without das, but it means that he had das. He had das and he didn't do it with intention, but he has to be somebody who could have done it with intention, and the summa couldn't have. He couldn't have done it with intention because he can't say what he's doing. So the pasuk on the given, the default of the pasuk would have been talking about not a blind man. The iyam low rose prat summa, then we believe that's not the way. He wouldn't have needed the pasuk bli rose because if you wanted to say that it's coming to exclude a summa was already excluded. Below rose, the rabbi says a summa. That's how a man knows that the pasuk below rose is coming to include. But all the Gemara explains is half of the story. And now you go back to Nedarim and don't.
Therefore, it's nothing to do.
Nothing to do. Nothing because Rabbi does go with what the Rosh calls with the mashmusei dekra, not with the svara. Mashmusei dekra is when it says that the husband or the father was quiet. The pasuk shot in the pasuk is he was quiet because he wanted to affirm it. He knew that, and that's how it stays. That's why. That's why. And the way it comes out, the way the Rosh is learning so far. It didn't explain at all the sefer. I thought we're going to get from the Gemara the machlokes case. It doesn't even talk about the machlokes case. It does talks about the first case. The way the Rosh explains, the Gemara is attacking why should a mayor hold in the Reisha yofer, and the sefer the Gemara doesn't have here says lo yofer, but in the Reisha it says yofer. Only discuss the Reisha the way the Rosh says that the Gemara understands that the reason why he's allowed to be mefer is the clock didn't start because even though the pasuk says he's quiet, that's only a silence of coming to affirm. That's the pasuk on the pasuk. Mashmusei dekra is that he's quiet because he wants to affirm it, and therefore, if the reason why he was quiet is because he didn't know that he has the power to be mefer, it doesn't show anything, and that's Pshat the Mishnah. That remains Pshat the Mishnah, and we don't explain the sefer at all. It does need explanation. What's I'm arguing about? We have to get to that, which we don't have right now. I don't have an explanation, and the Gemara had a question from Ori Miklat. That over there, Rav Meir seems not to go with the mashmos of the pasuk. He seems to go across the board. That if it says below Ra'os, it means below Ra'os no matter why he's not seen. Don't just say that he wasn't looking. It means for any reason that he can't see. So that was a kasha. The answer is only over there does he dash in that way because the pasuk would have anyway excluded a blind man. So why does it say below Ra'os? To include the blind man. So without a kasha from Aaron Miklat, we took away the kasha. But this understanding of our Mishnah stays the way we thought, that the pasuk says that he was quiet, and that's considered an affirmation only when the silence shows an affirmation, because he knew that he could be mefer and he wasn't. But if the reason why he was mefer was for outside reason, the pasuk is not talking about that, and therefore he still has the ability to be mefer. And we don't yet know pshat in the sefer. The Gemara goes further with a new Mishnah.
Yeah.
If that's good for, what do they call it, a rough copy?
That was good.
Okay, thank you. I don't feel comfortable, but that's good. Here it talks about Hamad, next Mishnah. Hamad Yarno Mechosno. Does that mean from his son-in-law? He didn't, the case is going to be a father-in-law, son-in-law over here. And the point is that the father-in-law wanted to give something to his daughter. And the problem is that his son-in-law is going to benefit, and he's not allowed to. The son-in-law is not allowed to benefit from the father-in-law. The Kuwait the Nedarim over here, whatever the word is, chosno means his son-in-law, chosno means his father-in-law. But the point is, I think the father-in-law made it that the son-in-law cannot benefit from him. That they got into a fight, whatever it was. So he wants to give something. He wants to give something to his daughter, and the husband has rights to his daughter's to his wife's possession. So by giving it to his daughter, automatically the husband is going to get rights to it. He has payros, whatever. So is it possible for the father? Money, yeah, okay, money. So, but the money, what do you do when a woman gets money for a yush, whatever? So then you translate it into something that could generate profit.
That's what the husband does.
The husband does, right? Because the right to eat payros. So here, if she just gets a present of money, the husband will be allowed to make profit out of it. and that'll be called that he's benefiting from the father-in-law. So is there a way that the father-in-law could give a present to his daughter without the son-in-law benefiting? So he asked his son-in-law to benefit from him, but he wants to give his daughter money or any kind of present. So if the father will give the present to his daughter in a specific way, it'll stop the husband from having any benefit from it. He says,
Complete kinyan.
why?
If the daughter gets it as a complete kinyan. then
Yeah, what is a complete?
entirely
Yeah,
hers.
but what does it mean? When it's complete, what is that?
There's no more, he's not in the picture.
When is that? Whatever she owns, the husband has rights to get payros. That's the
The
problem.
moment it transfers.
It's to her, so he-
from the husband to the son and to the wife.
Daughter, again, yeah. So there's a way
Kenyon acquires it for him.
that he,
Kenyon acquires it. for him.
Acquired.
that he has right to get payros out of it.
For him.
Maybe
At least
she's
the parent.
considered a mechitza for the
What do we?
violence.
So okay, the Mishnah says, so he tells her like this. He has to say a certain formula. That the father says all this to his daughter, that I'm giving this money to you for a present, and provided or on condition that your husband has no rights to it, only what you put into your mouth. What do those words mean? Only what you put into your mouth?
But it never went to her hand.
What does that mean? That she doesn't own it? That she only owns it when she's only, it doesn't, it's ein lach.
She's not making Kenyon on it until she eats it.
So she got money. What does she do with the money? It doesn't belong to her. It doesn't belong to her. She goes to the grocery store. It doesn't belong to her. She gets a sandwich, whatever. It doesn't belong till she eats it.
The husband's.
Then it's never going to be. When is it going to be hers? When is it going to be hers?
Oh, I got
When
it.
she eats it, when she eats it.
He's delaying any kinyan
It
except
won't
what
be,
she
it
has.
won't belong to your husband, Rishus.
So the way you're saying it, that sounds like you also don't own it. You don't own it until you swallow it. So I guess I would have. Okay, I don't know. Let's see what it was. Did Rush say about this? Any Rush?
There's a Gemara about it, no?
Lamashat. No says, no tenant. Beficha. He has Rishus to what's in her mouth. I don't get it.
Only what? No, you only get it when it gets into your mouth. Oh, the way it leave as if your husband gets reshus with when you put it into your mouth. That doesn't help him anything. That's what the word
What is
says.
that?
The way it comes out, the way I'm just learning together with you. I don't know what it says. That she only gets permission to eat it, and it never belonged to her. That's the way he does it.
It never
Okay,
belonged to
Yeah.
her.
Okay.
But
But it mostly never belonged to the husband.
Yeah, the memela, since it doesn't belong.
She swallows it, so the husband can't do anything. Exactly.
Okay, so it's a funny way to say it, that your husband doesn't have rights to it until you put it in your mouth.
And then it's.
Then he doesn't get rights to it either. He doesn't have any.
He
has no parents on that. So I'm not sure.
So
Okay.
what is it like? He wants to buy her chocolate and he knows the husband won't buy her chocolate. so-
No, he's gonna
This is
give her,
money.
it's not chocolate money. This is a lot of money.
$100,000.
Yeah, not just chocolate.
Well,
So-
what can it?
So, only what she doesn't own it until she benefits from it. She
It's
doesn't
not
own it.
hers.
It's not, that's what I'm listening to suggesting, that he's not even giving it to her. I thought that he just says, I'm giving it to you on the condition that your husband doesn't have rights to it. Could you do that?
No.
So it says no. You can't do that because you can't, so that's what it
You
sounds.
can't go
So you
because-
only could
because
not
he
give it
does.
to her. So don't give it, I'm not giving it to
I'm
her.
not giving it to you. What
Under-
about it? Say until.
Ella ma she'atam says for no senes b'fich. He says, you should really leave out the husband. The way we're learning now,
How
so
can
they
he
say,
not say so?
I'm giving, no, he does say, it's given to you for a present. And just leave out the husband over here and just say, when it comes into your mouth.
Right.
I'm not sure if we're right in the pshat, because it's too many words. If it just means I'm not giving it to you just when you swallow it. You leave out the husband and leave out the matana, it's, but it does sound like he's giving it to her as a matana, and the condition that he says is not going to belong to the husband, it does do something, but he ends off something about mashat no says b'fich. I'm not sure. Unless we have the words in the
No
Mishnah.
say no sense. It means she's doing something.
No, into your mouth. No, says for no sense. You're saying means
I'm
business,
saying
maso matan.
business.
It means, I think it means you pick it up and put it into your mouth. No
Oh,
says, but no senes b'fich. I think that's what the words mean, but I can't say for sure. Everything is just tentative. The whole night tonight is
Why is
tentative.
that less of a chance that the Baal will have any?
There's not a chance. Question of halachically, does he have any rights to it? If he never gave it to his daughter, so then the husband doesn't own anything. If that would be
Why
good.
just stop there? What goes into her mouth?
No, that means no. What is he going to do? What is he going to give it to her? He wants her to have something. He wants her to have it.
The father.
The father wants to give his daughter something.
Let
So
him
what
give
you-
it and then just but make the first condition. Forget about the.
Right. So that's what we're talking about. Is
Forget
there
what goes into her mouth.
is there Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Is
That's
that
what she wants. I know this is the father's gift. I don't want it.
right? So is it you don't want it?
I don't want anything to do with anything that your father gave you.
Of course he wants to.
Maybe not.
That's not the
What's
case.
he doing?
The case is he wants, and the father wants to stop. Not he wants. If the case is that he's a asabana. The father has to give it in a way that the husband should not benefit from it.
Oh, it's-
And
I'm reading it wrong.
That's the case. The
Yeah,
father-in-law asked the son-in-law to benefit from him, and now he wants to give his daughter, and it has to be in a way that the son-in-law should not be able to be benefit. So it says the way it does, he gives her a present and says this is a present that usually means like provided. I'm not sure what that means. Provided the husband doesn't have permission to it, but that's not enough. If we were able to do that, so stop right there. If it will be enough to say I'm giving it to you on the condition the husband doesn't have, so finish. But it says something about what you put into your mouth. So if we can learn together, we'll see what happens.
The simple answer is that all the time that it's still in existence, he can still get Bahanofa, he can go ahead and take it. Oh, there's a big meal there. So if he goes in there and walks in and has a snip of turkey wings, then he got Hanof from the father.
How's he?
Whereas
How's he allowed? No one gave him permission to eat the turkey wings. How's he eating turkey wings?
no, but the father's trying to avoid it that he will have even a chance to get. The
No,
turkey.
you're making up a story. We're talking about he wants to give. He's not talking about he's not getting a gun, a police. He's not. He wants to give his daughter something. When he regularly gives it to his daughter, automatically the husband is benefiting because he has halachic rights to his wife's possessions. So he couldn't give something to his daughter because his son-in-law is automatically benefiting, that he has rights to it. So he has to give it to his daughter in a way that the husband has no rights to it. We're not talking about physically stopping him or anything like that.
Yeah. So if it just had that first part about that he won't have any restrictions, then didn't we have that already, that he didn't say anything?
I guess I.
So if it ended there, then he didn't say anything.
Saying anything it's not good.
He's not making a letter, he's just trying.
No, he's trying to give a present. He finished in that. He made a net that you can benefit from it. Now, it's 2 years later, now he wants to give her something. The father wants to give his daughter something.
Strange family, I must say.
So he says, I'm giving it to you on the condition that your husband doesn't have any rights to it, only what you put into your mouth.
So the condition means she can give it to
A lot
her.
of money then.
It doesn't belong, if she could give her, she could, it's not,
When she gets it, she can't give it to her.
is it her? When she gets it, is it hers?
On the condition that he doesn't have any restrictions.
So there's gonna be, so we're trying to figure out, what does it mean? Is it hers? Is it hers and it's not his, or it's not hers even? Could he
It's
give it?
hers
to-
and it's not his, but I don't.
It
know.
is hers, He's saying it is hers, that's different than Avnus. Avnus said that he didn't give it to his daughter. He has to not, we have machlokas now. How did them in the Mishnah? Doesn't mean that he didn't give, he can't give it to your daughter. If you give it to your daughter, it goes to the son-in-law right away.
Right.
So you can't give it. So Avnus says that this is a formula that it's not going to go to the daughter until she eats it. So the husband doesn't, the daughter never had it, his wife never got anything. You're saying that he is giving it to his daughter, the daughter owns it, and the husband cannot have rights on it. We're trying to figure that out.
Okay.
Lo shanu, elo dam Allah, masha adno says from the standards befich. The way the Mishnah says, it only works if he says that you only get whatever, only what you put into your mouth. Aval amal masha tirti asi. But if he said, do with it what you want, he just said, that's what we're talking about, that he just said, I'm giving it to you on the condition your husband doesn't have any rights to it. Do with it what you want. Is that good enough? So he says, no, the Mishnah says it's only good if he says what you put into your
If
mouth.
it's kana.
Then kana yason baal. If he said masha
Oh,
tirti
if you say
asi,
that.
so then kana yason baal, the husband owns it, and then
She makes a kinyan on it.
Right.
automatically the husband owns it. And that's the problem. That seems to be the
Okay.
pashtan of the Mishnah.
Yeah, I
Ushmuel amar, afilu amar masha tirti asi, lo kana yason baal. Even you don't have. That's I don't know. The Mishnah does say. Mishnah says something about masha atno says from the sentence befich. Doesn't explain that how Shmuel learned the Mishnah. But he says even if he would say do what you want, also the husband doesn't get. Since why? Because he said on the condition the husband doesn't own it. Is that enough? And you don't even need the last words. So what does it say it for? I don't know. But Shmuel says that even if he would say, I'm giving it to his present to you that your husband shouldn't have rishus and do what you want, it's good. Maskav Tarab Zera. Keman Ozla Ha Shmaita Gulav. Who does Rav hold like? Which we said it seems to be the pashtan of the Mishnah. That you can't say do what you want. Rav Meir. Dama Yadisha
By the way, I'm
Kiad.
sorry, that's,
According to who is going the Gemara of Rav.
Rav is going like Rav Nissen. Like Rav Ram.
The what? That if you get that the only way that it works is if you say what you put into your mouth. But just to say do whatever you want, then it won't
That's
work.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Because then Masha comes, you should go to Bible, right?
And here it says Yad Isha Kiyad Baila means the hand of a woman is like the hand of her husband, which that's what
Right.
they want the whole time. Isn't that the subject the whole time? That
Right.
is when she's calling something, he's calling it automatically.
Right.
So that's the
So
part we're
therefore,
talking.
she's not Kohen, that's right, it's only Kohen once it goes into her mouth. Yeah. Then he can't get it anymore.
Okay, so it sounds, isn't that, doesn't everybody hold that whatever a husband, a wife gets, the
Right,
woman
that's
gets
what
rights
they
to
hold.
it, only a mayor?
So like she would take this $100,000 and put it in a drawer and say, this belongs to my father, it's not ours. And the guy can't do anything with it.
Yeah, that's for sure good because she never got it. But if she would get it, then automatically he gets it. And that's
Yeah.
called, the Gemara calls that Yad Isha Kiyad Baila. I don't,
Yad Isha Kiyad Baila sounds more Chomer than Chumash goes into the Bible.
so I don't know.
Because maybe that you can make a tie on and this you can't.
I really don't know.
You could add another clause, you could say this money is not yours until your husband dies.
You're doing more than different cases, but let's
It's one, you know. it's one-
let's keep
in other words,
to
you
what a
could never
case.
have it,
You're
all
bringing
the
in
time,
more possibilities, maybe, but let's try to figure out what the Gemara is called in this
It seems
case.
to be more, it seems to be more,
The
a new concept of Yad Isha Kiyad Baila is more than Masha comes to Shekhanah Baila.
okay, it could be, I don't know.
Comes to Shekhanah Baila, you can make a tie on that. Yad
You
Isha
can
Kiyad
correct
Baila,
it.
the Keltnai wouldn't help.
Okay, could be, I'm open. The Rush brings down, the Gemara Kedusha says, "Ain't can you level below Rab?" That the Eved Kanani, it cannot be calling as soon as he's calling something, it belongs to the master. And Rab says that by a woman, it's also the same thing. Ain't can you leash below Baila, that a woman cannot acquire anything without her husband owning it. So the only way to do it is to say that you only get what you put into your mouth. Okay, we'll take it.
Oh, so it's the only case that actually works, from what with this tiered seed doesn't work.
That's what Rav says. Shmuel says it does, and the Gemara is saying Rav holds like a
What's
mayor.
Shmaisa mean?
Shmaita is a Gemara. This member, this statement of Rav goes that Rav holds like a mayor. Rav is going in the cheat of a mayor. That Yadisha Kiyad Baila. Verminu, Akasha from a Raisa, Erevin, Ketzad. Something to do about Erevin now. Mishtatfin b'mavli. Case of Mishtatfin b'mavli. How do you make what we call an Eruv? For our purposes, it's called an Eruv. Yeah, Eruv doesn't mean again, we learned Eruv in Baruch Hashem, doesn't mean the string. The Eruv, that's called the Machitza, that's called the Source of Pesach. But the Eruv means that you have to collect food in order to pull together food. And by regular Eruv Chaser, it has to be bread. That's what we always do. But there's such thing called Shitufim Avos that doesn't have to be bread, and it could be other kinds of food, which we don't have a mobile set up nowadays. But whatever the case is, it's that when you have to be mezaket everybody, it doesn't make a difference for the details if it's going to be food or it's going to be bread or mobile or a chutzah, but you want to make a Eruv, and you have to, everybody's supposed to pull in food together. What do you do when you don't want to go around to each person and collect some bread? So one person donates and without giving out, it says, I'm being mezaket to everybody. Somebody should be mezaket. Somebody should be zocha. That's what do people now. Like, did anybody? Okay, right. But so they don't come knocking on your door. We want bread for the Eruv. What does he do? He takes his own box of matzah and he gives it to somebody to be zocha for the whole season. Okay, now that's what it's talking about. Ketzad, Mishtatfin b'movi, Meniach hasachavis, V'omer Reiz al chol b'nei movi. That he takes a chavis, whatever, a barrel of food, a box of matzah for our purposes, and he says this is hereby belongs to all of the people in the mavoi, in the chatzah, whatever we're talking about. But the point that you have to make is a kinyan. You can't just say, I can't take my own thing and say that this hereby belongs to everybody. You can't make a kinyan like that. You have to give it to somebody, either the person himself or somebody else to represent him and make a kinyan for him, to be zocha for him. So here it says, that's what it was boiling down to.
Make a kinyan on it.
You have to make a kinyan. And somebody out of your rishus, out of your ownership, out of your jurisdiction, if you put it from one hand, your right hand to your left hand and say I'm being zocha for all of you, it doesn't work. So if you give it to somebody who's part of your jurisdiction, you didn't do anything. You have to get it out of your jurisdiction.
Somebody who lives in the Mavoy.
So let's say it could be. Let's say a person in would do nowadays is in an apartment building. He goes to his next door neighbor and says, "Please be zocha not only for you, please be zocha for the whole building, whole neighborhood." So here, who's that? Who's that acher? Here it says, He could even as Eved Ivri or Shivcha Ivris, Amavriya, or his son or daughter who are already Gedolim. It says his wife also. It's here. It says he gives his wife also could be zocha from him to everybody else. That sounds like he got it out of his rishus. If his wife is his jurisdiction, whatever she owns, he owns. So he took it from his right hand to his left hand. If you say that the husband owns what she owns, didn't get any place. So what's that? That's going to be a kasha, and we're going to say this is probably our mayor talking. But mayor, you're saying, I don't get it. Rav, it holds like maybe the Amish is going to be our mayor, And Rav is going to our Mishnah. The Gemara is assuming that our Mishnahs are Meir because it's a Stam Mishnah, and that Mishnahs are Meir. And the Gemara makes a contradiction now that if Rav says that it's only what it says, that he has to say only what goes into your mouth, but he can't give it to the woman without the husband owning it, means that whatever the woman owns, automatically the husband owns. But in Erevin, it doesn't sound like that. Over there, it sounds like he can give it to his wife, and it's not called that. Right, it's called that's called somebody else. It went out of your rishus. So a contradiction in Rav Meir. Amar Rava. Afagav dam Rav Meir yadi shekiat baila mo de Rav Meir le'inyan shitov de chivan de lizkot la'achirim hu zakos la'chemu miyad baila zachia. That even though the wife's hand is like the husband's hand, so here if him giving it to his wife to be zocha is like taking it from one hand to the other hand. No, since that she's taking it in order to be zocha for others, so here she could do that. Does anybody understand the answer? Why is it different?
She becomes a what's it called? She becomes a shlicha for the.
But the question is, he can't give it to his right hand to his left hand. So here we'll see the brush over here. The chivon the baal gufei mezaka lehem u'mistalek mimash zoche kedamina b'matana shabal nosem leishto konsa ve'ena baal lochopeva. Since the husband wants that she should be zoche for somebody else, so he's removing himself. He's removing himself, and he gives an example. Can a husband give a present to his wife? No, of course he can give a present. Could he give a present to his wife that it belongs to her?
That it belongs to her.
But he give a present that still belongs to him. That's not such a great present. But if he gives her a present, it belongs to her. So it says yes, even if you hold that he should get Laila, because he wants to. So he's removing himself. So he wants to because he wants to get it to other people in the chutzah.
That's over in the Hatzeros.
Right.
But in our case, he doesn't want.
Right.
He wants to own it. He doesn't want it.
Right. So if in our case, the only way to get it away from the husband is to say it's whatever you put into your mouth. But just to say your husband shouldn't own it, there's no such thing. Because he does own it without Mashikani Shikana Yadi Shikat Baila. So but there really, so the answer to Stira, so really Yadi Shikat Baila, and there's no way to give it to her without the husband automatically owning it. That's why you have to say only what you're going to swallow is going to belong to you. But by Erev, since he wants to remove himself because he wants that it should get to the other people in the chutzah, so he can. And the Rosh says similarly, as a example, that a husband could give a present to his wife that she should own, because when he's giving it to her, that's what he's doing. He's giving it to her. So he's removing himself. So here too, we could do it.
Can you just do the punctuation from the Kevan, the last phrase?
Where is that?
Right before the Esrei.
Before what?
Aram Rava, Afagav Dama Rav Meir Yadi Shekat Bailam, or the Rav Meir Lenin Shitov, the Chevan, the Liz, how do you say? The Zakot La'acherimu. Since the purpose of this thing is to be Mezakah to others, the Chevan the Zakot La'acherimu.
The thing itself.
The thing itself.
The issue is to give it to others.
Yeah.
Miyad, whatever, I'm not sure. Miyad Baila.
Right.
Miyad Baila.
On the hands
The
of
Zakos Lachem Miyad
giving it
Baila.
over.
That the purpose is to be Mizakah to others from the husband. The husband wants to give it over to the others. So therefore, Zachia. So therefore,
Miyad
she
Baila, that's the Miyad Baila.
from her since
Zachim means she's there.
Miyad Baila Zachia.
She was.
she can be Zocha from her husband to give it to others. The purpose.
Almost like a shliach.
Yeah, but you have to have more. That he doesn't. That he's the one who is removing himself. That's how the Russia is. He's
You can always do that. You
Mr.
can always take away his ownership from things that he wants to take away from his book.
You can't just say you have to do something. Either you have to be mafkirit or. See, here it's saying that he's giving it. He's giving it to the wife for the purpose of being Zocha to others. So he wants to remove himself from his rights. So the removing stuff from his rights. So he could, and the wife then was independent, and she's allowed to be Zocha for others.
And that's an answer. So
that was an answer to the
Rav,
question, right? The answer to the question
Meir.
that Rav holds like a mayor, Stira and a mayor. Answer to the Stira.
okay.
The Esrei Ravina, I noticed that the Rosh says this is not a real kasha now. This is a side point. It's not the Esrei Ravina Ravashi sounds like we're continuing in the sugya. I think I noticed in the Rosh that it's not continuing the sugya. It's just a side point. Let's see. Here it is. The Rosh says Esrei Ravina Ravashi Amasnis in the Even Parafolo Kara Sugya. It's nothing to do with here. Put in parentheses. It's a kasha in the Mishnah and Erevin. Nothing to do with us. So we'll put in parentheses and see what happens. Esrei. I think it's going to be till the end of the sugya. It's going to be parentheses over here.
And this is a Bryson.
It's kasha. Let's see. How could in the Mishnah Erevin that said before that you give it to the wife? Here it's going to say something else. Let's see. These are the people that you could be zocha through. Al Yidei B'no Bita Gedolim, through his adult children,
Adult children.
which is that fits what I've said
We
before
learned that
also.
before.
Abavdo Shifchasa Ibrim and the Eved Ivri Shifcha and the Amavia, which also fits that's what I said before also. And before it said his wife also. Here it says not
right.
Be'elu Shein Zochalahen, and these are the following that you cannot use them to be zochet to other people. Al Yidei B'no Bita Ketanim, if they're minors. Abavdo Shifchasa Kenanim and the Eved Kenani Shifcha Kenanis because they're considered his. It didn't go out of his jurisdiction.
Right.
The Ishto. Oh, here it says that is so the more makes contradiction out of it. And the Russia has nothing to do with us. It would be fine with us, but over there it's contradiction in Erevin now. Could a person give it to his wife or not to be zocher for the rest of the people? Elam Ravashi masnisnim b'sheshla. Maybe the masnisnim b'sheshla chatzer ba'osam mavuya skinan the migu the zachil nafsha zachil lachrini. When does it say in the Mishnah that the wife can also be zocha? Before we said because the husband's giving it to her for that purpose. Now he says only in a specific case when she has a chatzir in that mavui, that shin she can get for herself, she can also get for others also. What does that mean?
How does she have a chatzir?
She has. How does she have something? She could.
Because it came to before the marriage, you could say.
No, that's problematic.
Maybe. Wow.
Let's read the rush together with you. She has a house in that. I'm just going to use the words loosely because it doesn't make a difference to us to get. That means like the house in the chatzah.
Yeah.
That she's also answering if she doesn't have a chelik, if she doesn't have a chelik in it, so that one's going to be in a problem. You can't make an error if somebody doesn't pull in.
Right.
So the husband who wanted to make that he also had a house over there. He had a house, she had a house, whatever the case would have been, and he wants that to be able to carry in this mobile. And if he doesn't give his wife, so then everyone's messed up. Nobody can carry in that chatzah for Shabbos. So-
That woman,
Well, because of
that woman who owns the other house.
his wife. Happens to be his wife. He's not going to be able to carry, and also be able to be carrying. But Tzarach HaBalis goes Gam Lisha. So he's saying that it's not enough that he just, the case we thought till now, his husband and wife live in the same house.
Right.
And he doesn't need her to be part of the area because it's his house. If you live in the same house, you don't need an area. It's only different houses. So in the same house, like each house gives in there, if not that each person in the house. It's not like it's like Ner Shabesa. It's not like each house gives into the area. So if the first Torah said no difference, the Gemara assumed that you can give it to your wife. So even though she's in the same house, he doesn't need her to be part of the area, but he wants somebody to be zoch of everybody. So he gives it to her to be zoch of everybody. That's good. Now the Gemara is saying no, it's only in the case where he needs to give it to her, a chelik also, because she also has a house over there, and she lives in the next house, and she is going to answer the mobile. If he doesn't give her, forget about everybody else. He has to give everybody. He give everybody, but he has to give her also because she's going to mess up the area if she doesn't have a chelik in this pooling. So once she's zocha for herself, migu, since once she's zocha for herself, she'll be zocha for everybody else. But if it would be a case where he doesn't have to give to her, she doesn't have to be part of the area, then she wouldn't be able to be zocha. This goes gam lisha. Aval masnis in the Erevin mari b'she'ein la chatzer hilkach. This goes lacheren. So I'm not sure if it's mamash parentheses, but it's just fixing up what we said before. That before we just said that any wife can be zocha for the others. If husband gives his wife something in order to be zocha for others, it works. Not a Gemara changing it. No, it doesn't mean that. Usually he cannot. Only if he's giving it to her, like the Rosh said, he can give his wife a present. Yeah, that for sure he can do. No one's arguing that he gives his wife his present. But if he's giving it to her to be zocha for somebody else, the first Teretz held is also good enough. But not a more proof from another Brisa that says he cannot give to his wife, that he cannot give her to be zocha for others. He only can give to her if he has to give to her, and that he surely could do. He can give to her a present that she should own. Then agav that she's being zocha for herself, she also can be zocha for other people also. But she wouldn't be able to be zocha for others if she wouldn't be getting a chelik in herself.
And
So-
would that be true if he had somebody else, one of the neighbors, not his wife?
Yeah.
If they were going to be zoche for everybody, she doesn't own anything, right?
And so he could be. So then that person could be zocha for his wife also probably.
No, it'll go back to the
It'll go back
husband
to him
unless he
again.
gave her something.
She hasn't, no, because that's her, given to her as part of her other house.
But so he
I'm
needs,
saying
he
he
needs
has
to give
to-
it to her.
He has to
He
give her
has to, the
something.
same way that he gives her directly, he can give it to also to a neighbor to give to her because he wants it to get to her. I guess that's what you're saying, right? Okay, so maybe tomorrow will be some corrections.
It's great.
Ready to move on?
You recorded it, but nobody's answering, can she own an apartment?
Ron,
It's good.
Ron is your show on the run.
Okay, we'll try to continue
thank you
tomorrow.
very much.
Thank you, thank you.
I was thinking- I was
Shavuot
thinking